Check this out.
Welcome to BLPA Big Show. Hockey sports, life for the adult athlete. Yeah. Powered by the Beer League Players Association.
Better follow me.
Follow us, the BLPA, on every social media outlet. Follow the crew on Twitter at Nicker Jones.
Let's get it. Here we go.
Welcome to the greatest sports show in the world. Good week, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Glad you're back here with the BLPA Big Show with my buddy Jason. What's up, Jason?
What's going on, Nick?
You know, chilling, killing. Both of us are relegated. You're in the basement, I heard. I'm out in my car because my wife said I'm too loud. I've got too much excitement and energy in my voice, and my wife shipped me out outside to record. But we're doing the damn thing. I know we've been missing for a couple weeks. I promise eventually we're going to get on a weekly schedule, especially since my time is starting to kind of ease up for at least until the end of the year. But we will get there. But as we get there, why don't you fucking follow us, all right? Follow us right now at the BLPA, every single social media network. You can find me at Nicker Jones on Twitter and the Nicker Jones on Instagram. And you can find Jason over at Beer League Jason over on the Twitter. And this show is brought to you by HockeyWolf.com. Ow, 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 ow.
Ow, ow, ow.
I like it when I'm outside when my kids are asleep because I can really get into the house. But Hockey Wolf, those are our boys. They got pro shops in the Pacific Northwest, but they're trying to make Beer League a little bit more affordable. Not even just Beer League. I say Beer League because they sponsor us, but they'll sell hockey to anyone that'll buy hockey equipment, young kids, pros, whatever. But they're trying to make the game more affordable. So if you need team sets of gear, if you need sticks, they've even got stuff that BLPA can't even get. And go check them out. HockeyWolf.com. Ow, 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 ow.
Ow, ow.
We really, listen, okay, we do have a sponsor for this show. We need more. Lots of them. We need lots of them. We're going to corporately sell out so we can reach our goals, Jason.
Absolutely.
Listen, but I can't take any more wolves, all right? The only wolf we can have is Hockey Wolf because I only want to do one howl show. But if anyone wants to get involved, I'm not afraid of selling out right now. There is a number in my head. I'd sell everything right now. There's a number in my head, and if someone offered it to me, I'm not gonna say it, but I'd fucking walk. You know what I'm saying?
I believe it.
I'm tired. I'm tired, and I know I say this because I'm just like at the end of the stretch, and so I am actually dog tired. But what's funny that I say that I would sell out. We do have some corporate people that have been asking to get involved with the old BLPA. What could be our BLPA? Okay, we'll just say BLPA. It's easiest. So I'm super stoked about that. I mean, I've pitched a couple of really good ideas, and listen. I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but I can pitch some shit. You know what I'm saying? Good shit. And I pitched it, and I think they like it. I mean, I usually can read a room pretty good, and that room felt fucking electric after I pitched it. So
yeah, I believe it.
I'm super stoked.
I've seen you at work, and you've got the gift of gab, so I believe it.
Hey, thanks, bud. Thanks. And I mean, you're in sales too, so you got it as well. That's why we make a great team here on the BLPA Big Show. Follow us, subscribe. I already said it, but do it again. Leave us a review. Good reviews only. Fuck you if you don't. Lots of Patreon people on board. As soon as I get back into my recording studio, aka my sports room where I watch all my sports, we'll be able to get back on the mouth hugs for people that are Patreon members. And if you wanna support us, patreon.com/theblpa. Lots of really fucking rad stuff has happened since we chatted. We were just in Vegas, the BLPA Bash in Las Vegas. Electric, as always. The team tournaments have a different vibe, but I want to talk about team tournaments because we have a huge team tournament announcement. But I also want to. I think the cool part about this show is not a lot of people do what we do, or I guess do what I do in terms of running tournaments and events. And I want to be able to give you kind of like a behind the scenes of how they actually work, because there's always some kind of drama, right? And so we just want to discuss that, things you should and shouldn't do at tournaments, you know, what tourney directors love and what they hate, all that good stuff. So we can talk about that. You want to talk about sub fees. So we're going to get down on the sub fees here, and then wherever else this fine evening takes us. Do you know it's going to snow 10 centimeters 10 centimeters is basically 4 inches in Calgary tomorrow. It's our first big snow of the season, and I'm kind of dreading it.
Yeah, so we're not quite there yet, but I did wake up this morning in South Carolina for work, and it was like 42 when I walked out the door at 6 a.m. to start heading home, and 42 felt really cold.
Yeah, that's it. Like I try to hold on to the shorts weather for as long as I can in Calgary, and it's been about a couple weeks since, like, when I left last time, I wore shorts to the airport, and I was like, ooh, boy, this is probably the last time I'm going to be able to wear shorts in Calgary for a while. And so I got to go to Vegas and Austin where it was still shorts weather, and now I'm going back to Vegas next week for a Dex. Those Star Wars jerseys are badass. You'll be there. And then I'm in where am I? And then I'm in Phoenix for our golf thing. The weekend after, so I still get some shorts weather. That's the greatest part about the job, I think. I mean, I love hockey and I love meeting the people, but being able to go warm places when it's cold in Calgary is fucking mint, bud.
Yeah, no, I could see how that would be even more of a treat when you live somewhere like Calgary.
Mm-hmm.
To get out of that crazy snow and crazy cold.
I mean, and I always go to the airport in shorts. Like, if people see me, and I do it for a reason. It could be cold as fuck. It could be snowing up to my knees. I don't give a shit. I'm wearing those shorts, and people at the airport see me, and they're like, fuck this guy. Going someplace warm. Lucky him. I like to just fucking rub it in, bud. Like, that's where I'm going. I'm going to Scottsdale, Arizona. What do you think about these? See these white legs? They're going to be a little bit bronzer when you see them again. Be jealous. So, that's what
good.
It's kind of like I used to like when I'd carry my hockey equipment around the airport, I used to think, people think I'm somebody here. People ask me if I'm a pro hockey player. I don't say no, but I'm like, I play a little here and there, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It just makes you feel good, And when people look at me, if they saw my physique, they wouldn't think I was a hockey player, but they still see it, and they're like, yeah, do you play pro hockey? And I'm like, yeah, I play a little here and there.
That's good. So my wife has a habit of, people will ask. So, like, I've had people come in my house to do things, and I have like a really cool locker that me and Frankie built that looks very professional. And one day somebody came in and was like, "Oh, is your husband a professional hockey player?" And she said she laughed and said no. And I'm like, that's a disrespect. And then here recently we had like a internet guy in the house installing something, and he opened a closet and there's a bunch of jerseys hanging. And he also said, "Hey, is your husband a hockey player?" And she responded, "Not a good one."
Oh, gotcha.
So like,
Kate.
yeah, that's like her favorite thing to do is just to clown me when people ask.
Oh, that's tough. Oh, hey, one day we'll clown her real good, bud. You don't worry. We'll find a way. You tell Kate her time's coming. Hey, when people ask me if I'm a pro hockey player, I actually am. Like, I go play.
You are.
I go play, and that's how I make my living. So I am a pro. I don't play in the NHL. I don't play high-level pro leagues, but I am, in fact, a pro. And I said this on the BLPA group way early on, just as a joke. Like, that's my go-to joke, right? And some dude got fucking pissed, bud. He said, "Why are you trying to pretend something you're not?" Blah, blah, blah. And he went off on me. I'm like, bud, like, one, it was a joke. But two, that's how I make my living. So technically, I am a professional. I get paid to play hockey. Give me a fucking break, bud.
Yeah, that's what professional means. It means you make a living doing it. It doesn't mean you're an NHL player.
Yeah, I've been saying bud a lot, but what are you going to do? I guess because I've been back in Canada for a few days, I'm back into the bud and the A's, and hey, I want to go out for a rip, bud? So, hey, listen, I don't usually like to talk about NHL hockey because usually my NHL team sucks, but my team right now is on, they're in fuego. Fire.
They are on fire.
Literally, Calgary Flames in fuego. Fire. Listen, they lost that first game to the Oilers. Fuck them. They do that every year. That's just, that's when I thought, oh, fuck, here we go again. Same old shit. But they've reeled off 5 fucking wins in a row on the road, right? You said they won tonight. I saw it was 2-0. They did win, right?
I believe they won 4-0. Let me confirm
a little shutty?
Yeah,
that's what
4-0.
I'm talking about. Who are they playing?
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, fuck you, Pittsburgh. shit hockey team, but hey, the Flames rolled into town. They're something, boy. They're rolling. They got a bunch of. I mean, they got Johnny Gaudreau, but I wouldn't say he's like a top tier star. They lost their captain Giordano, but they said, we don't give a fuck. We're just gonna go out and start fucking playing hockey. They literally have a guy that's leading their team in scoring, whose name means eat bread. All right. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna go out and eat fucking bread, bud. Put pucks in net. Pucks in deep. 110%. Trust the system. That's what the Flames are going to do this year. Probably going all the way, just like my Bravos. The Braves are in the World Series right now, tied 1-1 with those cheaters, the Houston Astros, who should have been kicked out of baseball. The whole fucking team should have just been fucking kicked out, I think. You?
Yeah, like I think there definitely should have been a stronger penalty on the cheating. I feel like baseball's afraid to do anything serious because they want to like sweep it under the rug and pretend like it didn't happen.
Ain't that a bitch?
So they're just kind of like ignoring it. Yeah.
Hey, just one touch on baseball. We are beer league, so it's all beer league. I played some beer league ball before. Hey, isn't it just the shits, bud? Isn't it just the shits that every time I watch baseball right now, I see commercials about betting on baseball, but yet they won't let Pete Rose, Charlie Hustle in the Hall of Fame for betting on games?
Yeah.
That's
a tough one
hypocritical
for me
bullshit.
As a degenerate gambler myself, I definitely side with the other gamblers.
Well, and I think listen, I don't know the whole Charlie Russell. I should probably I don't do much fact checking before I start railing on a subject. You know, I take little bits and pieces and just glean from there. So I might not have the 100% cold hard facts, but I'll get him if I need to. But I think he was betting for himself to win. Like he was betting on himself to do good. And so I don't understand.
Yeah, and if I'm the owner of that team, that's exactly what I want.
Exactly.
I want my manager betting on himself to win, because that means he's going out there and giving it everything he's got every single time, because he's got even more on the line.
Yeah, he's got a paycheck on the line and he's got more money on the line. So why wouldn't you?
Exactly.
What a bush league, hypocritical.
I'm with you.
I love baseball, but it hadn't been the same since Chipper Jones retired. But now that the Bravos are back in, I mean, I followed the Braves for the whole time, but finally, since they haven't won a World Series since '95, it's about time. Same way my Flames haven't won a Stanley Cup championship since 2004, and it was stolen from them by a bad call. That puck was in, so they actually didn't get credit that was due to them. So officially, it's '89, but unofficially, they won in 2004. But that's just something I carry with myself. I wasn't even a hockey fan back then. But anyway, hey, speaking of degenerate gambling, I gambled in Vegas.
Yeah? How'd it go?
The old one-armed bandits, bud. Hey, let me tell you how it went. When you can make 10 times the money you put in, you're doing it right. And that's what I did.
That's true, 100%.
That's what I did.
Yep.
I put in $20 and I pulled out 100, and I was with my buddy Peck, who also likes to, partake in casino stuff. I usually don't. What I want to do is, if I'm going to gamble, I want to win. But unfortunately, that's not usually the case. I want to do something called winning, but they don't just let me do that in the casinos. So I put in 20, took out 100, and then he's still sitting there. So I put in my thing, and he starts winning big. But he put in like $150. He pulled out over $1,500.
Wow.
And, yeah, we were on some fucking heaters. But anyway, so he's betting like $9 a spin, big time, bud. Me, I was at 225. But I was still winning, and I won. I kept winning. I'd get down, then I'd win another $100, and I was up to $400 off $20 at one point. And usually for me, I would just pull that out and say, "Hell yeah, let's go," and I'd take it to the bank. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't.
Right.
Peck, I saw Peck over there winning. He goes, "Hey, bud, why don't you pump that up to $6 a spin? Win big if you're gonna win." And I'm like, "Yeah, well, hey, you're right." And that's how they get you. You win on the little ones, you bump it up, and then I lost half my stack. But hey, for me, that's still the money line. You know what I'm saying? Hell yeah,
you're money lining.
Money lining, baby.
Hashtag money lining.
Hell yeah. Hey, come to Vegas with me. Let's go money lining. And hey, I'm super stoked. Hey, I don't understand. So I went to the sports book, and I'm looking at all the numbers up on the thing, like, Flames, -5 or whatever, or it was Sunday, so like Tampa Bay Bucks, -5. I was like, does that mean they have to win by 5 or they have to lose by? I don't understand it. So in Vegas, you and I have to go, and I got to figure this out. I got to figure out how to do this.
All right, yeah, I'm your guy. So I've got like 4 games going right now that I'm watching while we're talking. So
hey,
I'll teach you while we're out there, and we'll get it going right.
Is it illegal illegal to like collect a BLPA pot and then just take it and bet it? Like, is there any rules against that?
I'm not a legal expert, but I don't think so. Like,
Okay.
I think that would be okay.
I mean, you're you know some legal stuff, so I think that's expert enough, right? So.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So,
I mean, what's the worst that could happen?
But I'm super stoked about Vegas and the draft experience. We got a draft party at a hockey bar across the street from the hockey rink called Sticks. It's going to be fucking badass. And then we got the probably some of the coolest jerseys I've ever seen made in person. They got shipped early because we've had some jersey problems before. They got shipped early, and I got to open them in Vegas for the team tournament. And oh boy, bud, they are something. They are I'm not a huge Star Wars fan, but they do look good, and I could tell for those that are Star Wars fans, they're gonna love them for sure. Hey, I'm not a huge Star Wars fan either. Like I haven't watched, I've probably watched bits and pieces of the movies, but I just like science fiction space stuff anyway. So it just kind of works. So I'm pretty stoked about that. But have you seen these the badass Beer League bougie Southern California theme?
I have. I've seen a couple of them.
Come on,
sure.
Are those not something?
Yeah, those are super dope. It looks like I don't know how to describe it, but they're dope for sure.
Well, it looks like Versace. It looks like Louis Vuitton. It looks like Gucci. It looks like it could be in the next 21 Savage video. That's what it looks like.
There you go. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, it looks like it should be in a rap video for sure.
Yeah, I mean, this is not my first rodeo. You know what I'm saying? So here we go. Let's go.
Turn it up.
If you're digging the show, support us through patreon.com/the BLPA.
The most greatest.
All right, let's get into some beer league chat. I do want to talk about tournament tips, but let's save that for after we talk about your topic. And you had mentioned to me, and I think I might have even sent it to you because I saw it on like a Nashville hockey group. I'm in a lot of groups. I've been kicked out of a lot of groups too for promoting stuff, but I'm still in a lot, even though I've been kicked out of more groups than you're probably in, Jason. You don't have Facebook. I've been kicked out of more groups than Frank is probably in.
Okay, that's a lot.
Hey, do you think Frank listens, and does he know that we name drop him every single episode?
I don't think he listens as much as he should. Like, as much as we talk about him, he definitely should be like a full-time listener. Like, the difference is Kaz called me today and was like, when are you guys recording again? Because I'm bored. I need something to listen to. So, like, Kaz is like a true listener.
Yeah.
Frank's like he just checks in every now and then.
Well, you know what? Like, we need to get on Frank. We probably need to make him a Patreon supporter. Tell him to get up off his wallet. We talk about him every single week. And if you want to feel good about yourself, and this isn't a shot at Frank. This is not a shot at Frank. He's just a fun guy to play against. So if you want to feel good about your hockey game, come to Vegas and play with Frank or against Frank.
Yeah.
More against Frank. Right?
Yeah, and Frank's not playing any hockey right now, so he's going to be a little rusty even for Frank.
Yeah. And we're not saying that you could just score as many goals as at will as you can on Frank. I'm not saying that. Frank's a good goalie. But this one time in Nashville, he probably still remember. We'll talk about that. If Frank ever tells us that he's listening or he becomes a Patreon supporter, I'll let him tell that story in his own words, not just my words.
Yeah.
So Frank,
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah. So all right, what's the thing in Nashville with the subs? Hit me with it.
All right, so I'll give a little bit of a backstory. Like, I've been playing hockey 7 or 8 years now. Started as an adult. When I first started, we had a rink, kind of on the outskirts of Nashville. That was a very old, kind of rundown rink. It was one that, like, if I showed up and I had to take a shit, I was more likely to shit my pants than go shit in the bathroom at this rink. Like, that's just the level of rink this was, right?
Was that Centennial?
Which is. Yeah, no, it was A game.
Okay,
Centennial's
it's no longer
still around,
around.
and Centennial's not great either, but A game was way worse.
Okay.
But at the same time, like, the way that they did league fees was your team paid X amount of dollars for the year, and your captain was in charge of paying that, and they were also in charge of going out and collecting those fees from their players. And what that allowed you to do was a couple of things. Like, one, if your team only wanted to play with 10 skaters because everybody wanted more ice time, everybody could just pay a little bit more, right? Mm-hmm. And you could have 10. Or if you wanted it, everyone wanted to go cheap, then you could get 15 skaters if you wanted to, really, however many, and the league fees would be cheaper that way. But the most important part of that was, if somebody subbed for you, it didn't cost anything, right? Because you had already paid your team fee at the very beginning of the season, right? So you're paid. The ice is paid for, the refs are paid for, the scorekeepers are paid for, everything's paid for, so there should be no extra money to collect. Well, fast forward a few years ago, and we've been lucky enough to get 2 really nice rinks that were put in, both sponsored by the Nashville Predators, and they're both called Ford Ice Center. There's just one in Antioch and one in Bellevue. Yep. And they do it much differently, and I have a problem with this personally. I know a lot of other people do, but essentially everyone signs up. You pay for yourself, even though you're part of a team. Everyone pays individually, and you can't play unless you pay. They check all that stuff. But if you go to sub for a team in this league, you have to pay $25 to sub, and it doesn't go to the team. It goes to Ford Ice Center. And I think the stink that was raised on Facebook, which is my opinion as well, is that why would we need to pay more money for a ice rental that's already been paid for up front, right? We already paid our fees, and that ice has already been reserved. So why should anyone have to pay additional money to the rink for ice that's already rented? And I'll say one more thing. When we were at A game, Frank was our captain, and a lot of times what he would do is he would keep the team numbers low, and he would charge sub. But what he would do is he would take whatever the sub paid, and he would give that to the person who missed the game. So if you missed the game and it was $20 a game or whatever, he would take that sub fee and he would give it to you because you missed that game. And that helped entice people who were like, well, I'm going to miss games this year, so maybe I don't want to play full time. That would allow them to play full time and just get some money back when they miss games because of the sub. But the rink never collected any more money, right? It was just the team that had already paid.
Yeah, that's weird. That is a weird. Just out of curiosity, like, what do you know what the team fee is?
I don't. They don't. So they charge per person, and I think it's like $280 a person. Okay. Per season.
So just to get this straight, so they charge per person, not a team fee. They charge. And how much was the sub fee? 25? Is that what I saw?
25. Yeah, 25
okay.
Each game.
Okay. So, here's why I have a problem with sub fees. I have a problem with sub fees because what if the team only has five or six players? Don't you want doesn't the rink, as someone that's providing the league, want the experience to be good? And how good is it if a full squad of 12 is playing against? Well, I would guess if you're paying only by player, you probably want to get as much ice as you can, so you just probably do 10 guys. But why would you want to play 10 against 6? It's not a fun game because you feel bad because the other team's tired and they stop skating. Well, most people feel bad. There are some dickbags out there that don't. So why would you want that? In our league here, our leagues, it's all team fee. Like, so, the worst league in the city is the most expensive, and they're like $12,000 a team, and then the best league is about $9,000, $9,500 or something like that. But it's for 30 games, and whatever, you pay your team fee, and that's it. And so the subs are free. And so, like, I always thought, like, if you're desperate enough for subs, and especially, like, I guess I can see, I see where they're coming from. They're saying, okay, well, if a person can just sub for free, then why would they even pay a league fee? Because we have that in Calgary. People be like, oh, I'm just gonna sub this. Like, you guys always need players anyway. Because for my last team, like, our fees were $12,000, it was $800 a player, and we'd put it up at 15 players or 16 players or something. But we'd be lucky to get 8 or 9 guys, even fully paid. So people would be like, well, why should I pay the $800 if you're just going to ask me to sub anyway? So I get that, but maybe it should at least be like, okay, well, if you already play in the league, you can sub for free.
Yeah. And see, I think that would be good as well, because there's two other things that this brings up. Is that there's teams out there that I can tell you the captains will pay because most people don't want to pay the sub fee, right?
Yep.
But they'll pay the sub fee for ringers, and then they have ringer subs.
Oh, Bush League.
So yeah, exactly, right? So it creates this whole other scope of problems. But yeah, I think if you said like what you're suggesting is, hey, if you're in that league, you can sub for another team for free. Then that encourages more people to join the league, because then they get the added bonus of, if I want to sub, it's free for me. And two, it encourages subs to be guys who are in that league rather than ringers from a league or two above.
Yeah, for sure, and maybe I don't know how they do leagues, but maybe they should say in their own division or whatever. But in Calgary, they don't care. They just said you can bring it out. Now here's one thing I wouldn't do. I would never pay for a sub goalie to come in. No, I never would. You know why?
Right.
Because if you're letting them play for free, like how does Nashville? How do they do sub? Like if your goalie doesn't show up, the goalie still has to pay $25.
No, I think goalies are free sub fees, and they only pay like $50 for the season too.
Okay,
they treat the goalies pretty good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, most time, like our goalie paid half price here, but when he used to pay full price, and then he came to us one time and said, "Hey, I lost my job. I don't know if I'm going to play next season. I'll find you guys a goalie that'll pay." And I talked to the boys, and the boys were like, "Fuck, we'll pay for him. We'll pay. We want Spence to be here, so we'll pay for him." So we did. And, we paid him that year and then the next year. And then he came to me and goes, "Hey, I got my job back. Can we, I'm just going to start paying again." And I talked to the boys, like, just make him, at least he's offering, make him pay half. And we're like, okay, pay half. So he paid half price. But then we had like goalie services here that would come out, like they'd come out and you have to pay them like $45 to come sub at your games. And I'm like, we're giving you free hockey. Like, why are you subbing? Why are you trying to charge me a fee through an app to do this? And, I get business, I get all that stuff, but what really burned me up about it is I had a guy that used to always sub for me, and he said, "Yeah, I'll be there tonight." And then probably an hour and a half before the game, he goes, "Hey, you have to book me through this app." And I'm like, "What?" Like, we never paid him before. He goes, "Yeah, that's the only way I'm coming." So now I just got so turned off against sub goalie apps that I'm just I'm irrationally mad at them, and I will never never agree. Hey, if there's one thing that I want to do in the BLPA, I want to get so big that I can shut down every single goalie rental app in the world. And then I want to start an app myself where you rent a goalie, but the goalie pays you to come be on your team.
Okay.
That's how irrationally mad. And this situation wasn't even like last year or the year. Like, this is like 3.5 years or maybe 4 years ago. And I'm still so irrationally mad that this guy called me an hour and a half before and said, "Hey, if you want me to sub for you, you're gonna have to book me now through this goalie app, or I'm not coming." And the problem with like our league, and it's not the problem, it was actually a really good rule. The shittiest beer league probably in the history of the world. They actually had one good rule, and that was if you forfeit, you don't only just give them the team that game, but you have to give them one of your future games because it wasn't their fault that you forfeited. And why should they lose games?
Yeah.
And I thought that was good. And if a goalie doesn't show up, like, you can play without a goalie for the first period, but after that it's a forfeit. And so when this goalie did it, it really made me mad. Luckily, there was a shinny on right before our game, and I was able to find a goalie to dress out for us. But I've been irrationally mad at goalie apps since that time. And if you own a goalie app, and if you're on a goalie app, I'm not saying you're a bad person. This is not a personal shot at you. It's in general the idea of paying goalies rental when we already pay for our goalie, but also that this guy scumbagged me, an hour and a half for my game. It's not a personal shot. Don't jump on me, goalies. I don't need that GGSB or whatever the fuck they're called. I don't need them giving me death threats again. We've moved past that. Just chill and know that I'm irrationally mad. It's not a personal shot at you, or you either, Frank. I hope you're listening. Patreon us.
Well, I will agree with you that I think paying for a goalie seems a little silly, especially if you're letting them play for free.
Yeah.
Like, I know lots of goalies who sub a ton because it's free for them, and they're always happy to do it. So.
Okay. Hey, well, I think sub fees in Oklahoma it's the same. They started making you sub. So like when I go, they make me sub, and they try to tell me I need a USA hockey number. But I'm like, listen, I live in Canada. They're not going to cover me anyway. My health care is free. Look, I literally have $3.5 million of travel insurance. Can I just use that? Like, so I get it. I'm also I have an irrational hate on for USA Hockey as well, but that's a story for a different time. Right now I want to talk about tournaments. And I want to give you a behind the scenes look at tournaments and things that go wrong and things that tournament directors have to deal with, which, there's a lot of good in team tournaments, but there's also some shitty things as well. Do you want to hear those stories first, or do you want to hear this idea that I have?
Let's go with the stories first. Let's save the idea.
Hit the idea. Okay. So my ex company, you'll have to wait a little bit longer to hear your next idea to copy.
The BLPA Big Show, coming to you live from a locker room or parking lot near you for the game with a beer at BLPA Big Show.
All right, here we go. So listen, we ran this. We did BLPA Bash. We had 34 teams in Columbus. We had 30 teams in DC, and we ran a couple other smaller tournaments as we try to get them off the ground. And so, I mean, there's always so much stuff going on, but there was a lot of fucking drama in Vegas. A lot of drama for a 12-team tournament. In my thing, and I don't want people to think that I'm directly calling out individuals. But sometimes, when you act like this, like sometimes you have to realize that it's wrong. And I'm not going to mention names to throw dirt. That's not my style. I'd never throw dirt, right, Jay?
Of course.
Yeah,
of course.
I'm pretty cool about that. But so let's talk. Like everyone told. We really want to get women's divisions going. Like I think women's hockey doesn't get the respect that it deserves. I think that a lot of people overlook it because they think it's so hard. And I've never looked at someone and been like, "Oh, it's hard. I'm not going to try it." So I've really been pushing to get women's divisions in our tournaments. And to be fair, like a big part of our tournaments are social oriented. Like we want it to be a social atmosphere, and having women at a social atmosphere with dudes, it just makes it more fun, right? I mean, it changes it changes the dynamic, and for the good. And so, and not saying tournaments without a women's division don't have a good dynamic. We have fun either way, but it's just a different dynamic. I mean, if you were to go to a nightclub as a dude, would you go to a nightclub that was only filled with dudes?
If my wife is listening, yes. If not, no.
21-year-old single Jason would
definitely not.
Would definitely not, right? There's just a different dynamic. Yeah. And but anyway, so we got this women's division going, and we got one team, and we got two teams, and then I talked in our friends from Colorado Springs. The team name, they built a team just for the women's division, even though some were playing in the co-ed division already, called the Goddamn Delights, and they were so delightful. I love them, and I'm glad that they did this. And then we were like, okay, to make the division, we got to find a fourth team, and so we had a team that I was told committed to this, and they kept pushing off paying, and I get it. Like I've dealt with it before, but eventually you start getting red flags. Like, what the fuck is going on? Why aren't you doing it? Oh yeah, I'm just rounding everything up. Blah blah blah. I get it. Well, about a week before the tournament, one of the other teams that was paid in full said, "Hey, we're not going to be able to get a team together, so we're not coming." And they were coming from like Arizona, I believe. And I was like, oh, shit, that sucks because we have 4. Now we have 3. And they were like, can we have a refund? I said, not a chance in hell, because you can't pull out of a tournament a week before and expect that you're going to get a refund, right? Right. And so I was like, I'll just have to find a team. We'll work something out down the road. And so we started trying to find a team. We're like, hey, listen, we have a sponsored team. This team dropped out, yada, yada, yada. So this team that committed that hadn't paid, I guess they saw it, and they contacted me and said, we'll take the free spot. And I said, excuse me? And like, you had a team drop out that paid. We want to take that spot. And I said, hey, no, that's not how it works. Like, you just can't, like you said you were going to pay. You were the fourth team, so that's just not how it works. And they're like, okay, and they're like, well, what are we supposed to do? And we can't afford to do it. And I'm like, can you at least pay half price? Like, let's do, like, we're getting down to the nitty gritty here. And they were like, let's see what we can do. And they told me the day before. Hey, if it's not free, we're not playing. And I basically said, politely I said this. I didn't say these exact words, but I said, get fucked. Basically, I said, hockey's not free. And if they, for me, like, I understand the plight. And if they would have offered to pay half price, I would have said, don't worry about it. But when they came back to me and said, hey, we'll only play if it's free, I was like, nah. Not a chance in hell. So we only had two women's teams in the division, which sucked. I mean, it was great. They were a good time, but it sucked for them. So they played each other 3 times, but then we also found some guys' teams to play them, which they said they enjoyed. So that's kind of an issue that tournament directors have. It's really hard. I mean, to build women's divisions in general, and then to build it and have 4 committed teams, and then 2 bail out a week before the tournament. Like, how do you handle that after we've already paid the rinks, the refs, everything, and then they say, can we have a refund? You're like, sorry, what can I do?
Right.
Like,
yeah, that's a tough one, man. Like, double tough.
Yeah, double tough. And hey, I want to just give a shout out to all the women's teams that came to Columbus, because I think we had 6 or 8 of them. They all paid, and they all showed up, and they were great. They paid early. All the teams in Columbus paid early. It was actually really, really nice. And it made things a lot easier for us. But there was, I mean, everything's not all cupcakes and rainbows. I don't know if you watch The Trolls, but that my kid says it all the time because he loves the Trolls movie. It's not all cupcakes and rainbows. And, we did have some issues in there, and the issue is tiebreakers. What would be the perfect? What would be the perfect tiebreaker? Well, first off, you don't even like team tournaments, Jason. We've talked about this before. Why don't you like team tournaments?
Right. So, I was actually thinking about this when we were discussing what we're going to talk about today, because I figured this was going to come up. So the main reason I don't like team tournaments is I'm not very good at hockey. So I always play in a low division in team tournaments. And I think I've been to like 4, maybe 5 team tournaments. I have never been on a team that won a single game at a team tournament.
Oh, wow.
We
okay.
just and most of the time we lose by double digits. Like, we just get wrecked. But at the same time, I don't know if you remember in Cincinnati, but I pulled up my Dex record of the last like 5 Dexes, and I was like 2-23. So at some point, it's just a me problem. Like, yeah, I really should quit blaming tournaments and just look in the mirror.
Well, there is also some introspective that needs to go on sometime. But I get that thing. And listen, I love draft experiences. Love them. I do a lot of them. But I also know that there's a place for team tournaments, because my earliest memories of me playing hockey as an adult, my adult memories of me playing hockey are going out of town with my team and all the fun. Not even the hockey, but we did win. I've won some team tournaments in my life. Kansas Cup 2-time winner, by the way. Not a big deal, but the times outside of the rink with the team is really what I remember. So I know that there is a place outside of Dex to do these tournaments, and what I try to do, what I want to do, what the vision is to take the camaraderie that you build at a Dex amongst other players from not only your team but other teams, and take that to a team tournament. That's why the big feature is like a all-day barbecue kegger, like a barbecue we do in the parking lot, where we provide food and beverage, and it's fun. We didn't get to do that in Vegas because the rink nixed it, so I literally had to go buy like 300 cheeseburgers and deliver them to locker rooms. But anyway, so we have that. That's for me. That's my core vision for that is to take the camaraderie. I know teams want to win. It's a different dynamic because your team does want to win, but then you also want to take like what makes that camaraderie good at the Dex is people aren't being dicks. Like, they're not trying to run up the score. They're not there just to win at all cost and all that stuff. And so you kind of want to move that. Like, I know people want to win team tournaments, so the dynamic's going to be different, but you try to take, less dickery out of it. You know what I'm saying? And so in the tie,
yeah, for sure.
And so I tried to do that in the tiebreakers to kind of promote that less dickery feeling. So what in your world, and I know it sucks for you because you've never won a game, so you don't even know anything about a tiebreaker. But what would you think a game in team tournaments? What would you think would be the perfect tiebreaker?
I mean, if you're just going for the non-dick rule, I mean, the least penalty minutes is probably it, right?
Okay, yeah, I like that. So I've tried a couple different things, and let me also touch base on the not winning team tournament games. Team BLPA, which is usually a free agent team. I like to play hockey, and so like I do hockey tournaments because I want to play. But I've also found like in team tournaments, I can't play because if I was to ever win, it would look really shitty. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Like, and not that I would be doing anything shitty, but the whole Caesar's wife has to be above suspicion type thing. You know, like you can't even you shouldn't even put yourself in that predicament to where there's a chance people could think it is. That's how I feel. That's not how everyone feels. Randy likes to play him. Randy's going to play, but that's not how I feel. So I just kind of take a step back and I just run them. And so, but before Vegas, where by the way both BLPA free agent teams went to the championship game. You know what I'm talking about? We have usually got blown out every game. Maybe we've won one over the past year and a half or whenever we did team tournaments, but it's been very free. We usually get blown out. So it was quite different in Vegas. And so on the subject of tiebreakers and Caesar's wife being above suspicion, we get a review afterwards because I always say, hey, let us know what we're doing good, what we're doing bad. And this guy posted a public review saying that the guy running the tournament made up the tiebreakers after his team had played, so his team would get to go into the championships. And here I am first saying, well, I sent tiebreakers out the week before the tournament, so they were set in stone. I didn't make them up. And second, I didn't even play. I played 2 periods of the team's first game because they were short players because the other free agents didn't show up. And that's all I played. I didn't play. I couldn't even have made the championship game if I wanted to because the rule is you have to play 2/3 of the game in the tournament to make the championship game. So I'm like, whoa, bud. And he's like, well, okay. Well, then that's a stupid, shitty penalty. Why aren't you like every other tournament? I'm like, well, I don't want to be every other tournament. I want to be different.
Right.
Oh, I don't want to be the other where you just fucking load up and try to beat the shit out of people and bring high level players to low level divisions. And let me be frank, this guy that was bitching about it, I went back and looked at his registration and he ranked himself a 7, played college hockey, but yet he's playing on a Bender team. Go figure, he'd be the one to bitch, right? But anyway, so the tiebreakers that we do, I've tried a couple different. In Columbus, I tried lowest goal differential, not high goal differential. Lowest. So you
I like that.
You got
win tight games.
Yeah, you got penalized if you were blowing out teams, and it kept teams out of like two. I know 2 divisions where it kept teams out because we have 7 divisions, 6 divisions, and they were pissed. They were absolutely pissed, and I was like, but you knew the rules. So when you come out and
right.
and one team was trying to blow out another team because they thought it was a guy that they didn't like. It was his team, and they beat him by 10 goals, and that cost them the playoffs. And I was like, okay, you came out, you knew you were trying to blow them out. That's what we're trying to take out of the goddamn tournaments. So how can you be pissed?
Right, exactly.
The rules were posted prior. You knew. So what do you want me to do about it? Well, that's fucking stupid. And then in Vegas, what we did was least penalty minutes. And we sent these out. People knew it. And they're still pissed. They're still pissed about it. 2 teams. And guess what? Both divisions went to tiebreakers. One division had 3, like the one team was undefeated, and the other teams were 1 and 2. Or no, one team was 2 and 1, the other teams were 1 and 2. That's a pretty even division. So you start saying, okay, lowest penalty minutes, and the teams were pissed. They're like, but look at like we beat this team by 5 goals, and I'm like, okay, but the goals don't matter. Like it's not about how you can outscore a team. It's lowest penalty. Well, that's stupid. I'm like, but it's the rules. It's the rules. So what is the
rules.
so the question I pose to you and the question I pose to anyone listening, Frank, who's Patreoning us, and Kaz, who already does Patreon us, what is the perfect tiebreaker? Like, what promotes not being a dick? Because if you go like with goals for or goals against or goal differential, you're promoting running those up or bringing a stud goalie that can shut out everybody. If you could do goals against, right?
Yeah, I think what it boils down to is it's one of those things where like not everyone's going to be happy no matter what you pick, right? Whatever team loses that tiebreaker is going to be like, well, that's a stupid tiebreaker,
Exactly.
For whatever reason, right? And I've been on I've been in tournaments. Obviously, Dex uses the least penalty minute thing, and I've been on a team that we beat the team that went into the A championship, but they beat us on the tiebreaker because they had less penalty minutes.
Yep.
But the funny thing is, we all knew the rule, and literally as we were going into the last game, everyone said, "Hey, just so you guys know, we don't have any penalty minutes yet, and that's a tiebreaker. So let's make sure we keep it that way." And then one of our players just had a shit show of a game and racked up a bunch of penalty minutes, and it cost us, right?
Yep.
But we knew the rules, so. When that happened to us, we were like, it sucks that that's the rule, and it sucks that our guy knew the rule and did this, but we weren't like, this tournament sucks because they're following the rules.
But this guy was. These guys, two guys were, and this guy even was pissed off, and I simply told him, okay, you're blaming the refs and you're blaming the rules, but in all actuality, if you would have won all three of your games, the tiebreaker wouldn't have mattered. So
that's true.
So was it really the rules and the refs that kept you out, or if you would have just taken care of business? Because he said he was the best. They were.
Right.
It's a shame that the best team in the division isn't in the championship game. And I said, were you really the best? Because the team that won it was 4-0. They beat you. So if you would have beat them, there would have been no tiebreaker. So I don't know what you want me to do. But funny thing, you said the Dex tiebreaker in Austin. We had a tiebreaker to see who went to the B final and who went to the C final, and lowest penalty minutes was the same. Goal differential, the best goal differential was the same. So we're like, holy shit, what do we do? Okay, power play percentage, the same. And then we were like, okay, most goals scored in the first periods, the same. Most goals scored in the third periods, the same. It went to coin flip.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was absolutely insane. It was great. It was great because you want to have parity, and sometimes we don't have that at Dex draft experiences because the science doesn't work all the time. But it did this time. It was great. I absolutely enjoyed it. But I want to know what people like. I'm working on another tiebreaker algorithm because I'm a scientist, So I have these algos.
Yeah.
I have these algos that I'm doing, and I think they'll like it. It's just going to take a lot of work, and I don't think any other tournaments will do it. Because a lot of tournaments don't like to put in the work, but I think I've got it cracked down. I'm just perfecting this algorithm, and then I can post it, and I'm gonna post it in every goddamn dressing room when we do team tournaments, so people know on a big fucking poster board. This is the tiebreaker. That way that people know.
Is it going to be most handsome? Because then I'll win some tiebreakers.
Well,
that would be nice.
It's a weighted system, and that's in the algorithm. That's in the algorithm.
Okay, perfect.
So we're actually going to have referees, but we have a handsome judge as well that's going to come in, give your team a handsome ranking, and that's how this isn't sexist. Women can be handsome too, so the women will also be judged on a handsome scale. So I think it's going to be good. I think people are going to like it, and hopefully we'll be able to use it at one of our 8 BLPA bashes next year. 8 of them, I said, Jason. Maybe 10.
Yeah.
We got Philly, Ann Arbor. Okay, were you going to say something, or you want me to list them?
No, go ahead. I'm going to let you list them.
Philly, Ann Arbor, Denver, which will Monument, and then we got Seattle, and then we have where's the other one? Columbus, obviously. So that's 5. Oh shit! Now I can't remember the whole list. I don't have it in front of me. But I want 8. And the reason I want 8 is because in Las Vegas, at the end of the year, I want to do a tournament of champions. And the only way you can get in this tournament is by winning one of these 8 tournaments. It's like a regional.
Okay, I think that.
A regional and then a world tournament. That's the only way you can get it. You got to pay. I mean, because hockey's not free, but you'll be able to you'll win the golden ticket. And it'll be in Las Vegas. It'll be fucking rad. And I think it'll be a good time. But now listen, I know people are going to want to win at all costs, but we're still going to try to take this don't be a dick mentality into the tournaments. So, there will be some rules. Like what I do now basically is I rate, like we make them rate themselves, like we do drafts, and then we give their team an average overall rating, and then we split up the divisions that way. So for example, if you say you're a bender, but your average skill rating is like a 7.5, you're going right to I don't care that you registered for the benders. You're going to the fucking ringer division,
I dig. Yeah, no, that's the way to do it.
I put in the work, but I care. I put in the work.
Yeah, so I think I'm gonna try to make it to a bash next year, to a team tournament. Give it one more try. So I'll say this: if anyone's listening and planning on taking a team, and you need somebody who's not good at hockey, hit me up and let me know, and maybe that'll be the one I go to.
Hey, I also had a tattoo question for you, but I'm blowing. Like, I can't remember why I was thinking about tattoo. Oh, because I posted, show us your hockey tattoos in the Facebook group, and everyone was showing them, and some yahoo was like said something, and I said, he said, oh, I haven't got one because I can't afford it, and I said, okay, if I pay for it, can I put a BLPA tattoo on you? And he said yes. And so I was like, okay, sweet. And then it went to something. He said, you can put whatever you want. I said, can I draw the BLPA tattoo? And this motherfucker said yes. Yes. And I can't even draw. So, because you remember, like,
commitment.
Like the what was it? Was it like the Bills logo or something? And Jake Allen drew it, and it looks ridiculous, but someone bought it for like $100,000 or something ridiculous. So I'm like, holy shit, this guy. But I think it would be really funny if I really did pay and have this guy put a BLPA tattoo on his butt.
I think
or
you
something.
should do it.
Like, should it be a butt or should it be somewhere else?
I mean, butt is funny.
You have some great tattoos. You have incredible tattoos, actually.
Appreciate it. I think you want it somewhere where it's going to be seen more than butt. I don't know this guy. Maybe his butt's shown a lot.
Yeah.
But in general, most people's butts aren't seen as much as, like, a calf or a forearm.
Yeah. I think a calf would be like, I have great calves, and if I was ever to go and decorate myself, again, I would go calves, but I just don't. The reason why is because I mean, there's not really much in my life that stays the same, so I don't know what I would put and be happy with in 10 years. Like, maybe an eagle glove would probably be the only thing that I think I could say I'm never going to not like eagle gloves. But then again, I said I was going to sell out at the front of the show, so what if like Warrior came in and said, hey, here's the deal. We'll pay you, $100,000, but you have to switch to Warrior gloves. Is that the number? I mean, would I do it for $100,000? Maybe.
I think you would.
I like.
But I also do think just a hockey tattoo in general for you, like an eagle glove, maybe holding a beer can, like to represent beer league.
Yeah.
Like that might be the one you got to go with.
But but I don't know if I would, because at $100,000, $100,000 is a lot of money. Let's not act like it's not. But is $100,000 worth my identity? Is it worth having the moniker of the King of Eagles?
I mean, I guess it depends, like, for you, right? Like, I can't answer that for you, because if someone will give me $500, I'll wear whatever piece of equipment they want me to. Like, I just don't give a shit.
Well, I mean, I got it. I mean, even the lady that works at Eagle, like, they know me as the King of Eagle, and they don't give me, like, free gloves or, like, I'm not even getting anything from them. I bought all these gloves. They sent me one free pair because they messed up one of my other pairs. So I got my pink booby gloves, my breast cancer month gloves. I got those for free. But other than that, I've bought all other 90. Fuck, what am I at now? 93, 94. 94 gloves. Like I bought all other 93 of them. So
but what if plot twist? You took the $100,000, wore the Eagle gloves, but then just used the $100,000 to buy more Eagle gloves.
But I'd have to use the Warrior gloves in my real life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you could still have the collection. You just can't wear them.
Yeah, but what's the point? Like I don't buy them just to look at them. Like I do like to wear the gloves that I buy. I look at a lot of them, of course, but I like to rotate through. And if I can't wear them, then what's the point? Why not let someone else wear them? But you know what? Like, okay, maybe you just wear them on like shinnies or around. But what if I get photographed in the wild? The paparazzi are everywhere, bud. What if I get photographed in the wild wearing Eagle gloves, and then Warrior fucking, goes fucking ballistic? And here now the BLPA is blackballed because I haven't made it to the point where I'm big enough to cancel all goalie rental services and major hockey company brands, and so now BLPA is blackballed. All because I took this $100,000. It just seems like $100,000 is a lot of money, but it just seems like not enough money to ruin my identity over.
Okay, I mean, and that's something only you can answer, right? Like I can't answer that for you.
And I'm saying it now because I'm not presented with $100,000. If
that does make a difference.
Like, what if Warrior they drove up in my driveway where I'm recording right now, and they pulled up. And they got out of their car and they slammed. It had a trunk. It wasn't even an SUV. It was a car. And it had a trunk and it opened up and they pulled out 2 bags, slammed the trunk as loud as they could so I would notice them. And I would say, what the fuck is going on? Oh, shit, there's a guy in sunglasses and a suit walking with 2 bags. And he just slammed his fucking trunk door. And he opens one briefcase and it's $100,000 in cash. And he opens the other package and it's some Warrior gloves. Then my decision might be different. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's a lot of pressure to say no to, and having it right in front of you like that.
Because it's what one in the hand is worth 2 in the bush. Is that what they say?
That sounds right.
Or 2 in the hand is 1 in the 1 in the hand, 2 in the bush. So if there's $100,000 that I can touch, it probably sways my decision a little bit.
Yeah, probably.
But until that is presented to me, I'm going to say it's not worth my identity. Warrior, prove me wrong. Prove me wrong.
Yeah, Put your money where your mouth is.
I will say Warrior used to have a nice customizer, but now Eagle is definitely the king of custom gloves. If you want custom gloves, you have to go Eagle. They just don't have they don't do the array of things that they used to do before with Warrior. So that's what what I will say. Other than that, you got anything else to add? Or I mean, we could talk about this all night. I want a hockey tattoo, but I'm just I've talked to my wife about it before. And she's like, is it something you feel that strongly about? And I'm like, no. And then she's like, then why would you get it? And I go, not hockey in general, but having another tattoo. And and I said, no, not really. I think it would just be cool content. And she said, so you would put something on your body that would be a cool content for like a day? And I was like, yeah, that's a good point. Damn wives.
Yeah, the wives they always have the sensible reaction.
But you know what else would be good content? If I paid for that other dude to get a BLPA tattoo, and I got to draw part of it.
That would be dope.
Like maybe I just shade in a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like I just do a little color shading, or maybe I can put like an N. I can hide an NF in there somewhere. Like BLPA and then NF, just the little initials. He doesn't know. He doesn't need to know. But he's walking around with not only the BLPA, but my initials. That would be something. That would be some content, right?
Yeah, that'd be dope.
That would be something, bud. I mean, that would be almost like my buddy Mike Fox pretending to snort cocaine, but he was really snorting powdered sugar donuts. Funny stuff, good stuff, makes you laugh, makes you feel good,
Yeah.
So, other than that, you got anything else?
No, man, I think I'm good.
All right, I promise we're going to try to record again on Monday so people can have more Nick and Jason time. We're still looking for the perfect female co-host, and by perfect we mean someone that can make us laugh, entertain us, and put us in our spot in some places. That's the only thing that you have to do to be a part of the show. But you can follow us, the BLPA. And other than that, we got a new website coming out, new website redesign. I'm super stoked about that. Going to make way easier to find us. Way easier to find us because I basically found this, Jason. I basically found this. Why would you want to play with a company that's pretending to be us when you can just play with us anyway? You know what I'm saying?
The real deal.
So we're gonna put everything in one spot. That's where you're gonna be able to find us. So if it doesn't say BLPA, it's not even Beer League at this point, right? Basically we are Beer League, and so look out for that website. Hopefully it drops soon. Hopefully we'll get a new episode out next week as well. Other than that, guys, follow him on Beer League Jason. Follow me on Nicker Jones on Twitter, the Nicker Jones on Instagram. Be good or be good at it.